Welcome to online discussion on Criminal Procedure Code. So far we have covered the provisions regarding arrest in the CRPC. When police officer may arrest, when magistrate can arrest, when a private person can arrest. We have covered. Now section 47 onwards, some sections, those sections deal about search. What is search? Always, why search is required? Because what is investigation? Investigation is collection of evidence by the police. That has been all proceeding before the police officer for collection of evidence. When police proceeds to collect evidence, we say that is investigation. During investigation, sometimes search is required. Why search is required? Say, for example, some property, stolen property is there. That has been concealed somewhere. That is to be recovered to establish the identity of the property. Herefrom it was whether there was any link of the accused with that property. For that, sometimes house search is required. You might have come across, you might have seen in most of the vigilance cases, for disproportionate assets, to recover the assets which are disproportionate to the known source of income of a public servant. The vigilance police, they conduct search. They obtain a search warrant from the court, that is vigilance court, for conducting search. When search is to be done, search is required for the purpose of collection of evidence, for the purpose of establishing the accusation against an accused. So it is part of investigation. Search is required. Most of the time, search is required. Similarly, suppose soon after arrest, a person is arrested. If search is made, some incriminating, some weapon may be recovered from him, some property may be recovered from him. That is also required. Sometimes there are certain offences. The examination of a person will give some evidence. Say particularly in sexual offences, so examination of the accused is required, medical examination is required. Those from section 47 onwards, some sections deal about search of a place, search of person, examination of accused. Those provisions are there. Now let us come to provisions of section 47 of the Criminal Procedure Code. What section 47 provides? It provides that when a police officer is authorized to conduct a search or to make a search, conduct may not be proper word, to make a search without warrant, or where there is a warrant. Warrant means what? A direction, a written direction, written order by the magistrate authorizing somebody to conduct search. So there is a warrant for search. In such case, a search is to be made of a place. Place means it may be a house or any place. In such case, the person who is in occupation of that place, occupation of that house, on demand of that police officer, should give afford the facility for conducting search. If he resists, if it doesn't allow the police officer to enter into place for conducting search, who has been authorized to conduct search, then what that police officer will do. Also provisions are there in section 47. Now come to the language, come to the provisions of section 47. Search of place entered by person sought to be arrested. This section 47 says, a place may be searched to find out an accused who is to be arrested. What it says? If any person acting under a warrant of arrest, there is a warrant for arrest of a person, that is, a warrant has been issued by the court non-bailable warrant has been issued or a warrant has been issued to arrest a person. If any person acting under a warrant of arrest, a person is acting under a warrant of arrest, what acting? That he has a duty to arrest a particular person. A person, any person acting under a warrant of arrest, who not only police, but also some officer other than police, a custom officer, maybe an excise officer, a forest officer, any person acting under a warrant to arrest somebody, or any police officer having authority to arrest. Second category, a police officer who has authority to arrest a person, what? Has reason to believe, there must be reason to believe that the person to be arrested has entered into or is within any place. A person is acting under a warrant to arrest somebody, or a police officer during investigation has a right, has an authority to arrest a person without warrant. Previously, as per section 41, that we have discussed section 41, when police officer may arrest without warrant at length. So now, any police of any officer, any person, here officer is what is not there, any person who is acting under a warrant for arrest of somebody, or any police officer having authority or has to arrest somebody, he has reason to believe, that police officer has reason to believe, or the person who is acting under an arrest warrant to arrest somebody has reason to believe. What reason? That the person who is to be arrested has entered into a place or within in a place, or any person residing in or being in charge of such place, or if in that place is the resident of somebody, residential house of somebody. Any person is residing in that place or being in charge of that place. Suppose a person who is in charge of that place, then such person shall on demand of such person, such person here means the person who is proceeding to arrest, basing on a warrant, or a police officer who has authority to arrest, on his demand. But the person who is in charge of that residential house, or any person who is in charge of that place, shall on demand afford, what? Shall on demand of such person acting as associate or such police officer allow him to free ingress thereto, that the person who is in charge of that house, who is residing in that house, or any person who is in charge of that place where that person has entered into or is within. Two words are entered. Entered into means that police officer finds he entered, or is police officer believes that he is within in a place, within the residential house, or within a place. Who is that person? The person who is to be arrested. Then, on demand of such person or police officer, that the person who is residing in that house or who is in charge of that place must allow. What? Officer shall allow, that person shall allow him free ingress thereto. Ingress means what? Entry. Free entry into that place or into that, and afford all reasonable facilities for a search therein. And that person will afford all reasonable facilities, whatever required, for the conduct of search to find out that person. Now section 47 you say, a person who is acting under a warrant, who is acting in obedience to warrant to arrest somebody, or a police officer who has authority to arrest somebody, has reason to believe. What is reason to believe? That the person who is to be arrested has entered into a place, or has entered into a residential house, or is within a residential house, or is within a place. Then, on demand of such person, the person who is residing in that house, or the person who is charged of that place, must allow, or will allow him free ingress to that place. And also not only ingress, but also allow give him all facilities to conduct search. If increase to such place cannot be obtained under subsection 1, what? That means on demand, the person who is residing in that house or who is in charge of that house is not giving any, is not allowing him, that police officer, to enter. It shall be lawful in any case for a person acting under a warrant. A person who is acting on a warrant, it shall be lawful for that person. And in any case in which a warrant may issue, but cannot be obtained. And the second thing, suppose warrant may be issued for entering into that house, but time was not there for obtaining warrant, then, but cannot be obtained without affording the person to be arrested and opportune to escape. Suppose time is required for obtaining such warrant. In the meantime, that person may abscond. In such case, it will be lawful for that police officer or such that person to enter into such place and search therein. It will be, that means forcible entries can be made. It will be lawful for that person to enter into such place or such residential road, and in order to effect an entrance, if there is resistance, in order to effect entrance into such place, or to break open any other or inner door or window of any house or place, whether that of the person to be arrested or of any other person, if after notification of his authority and purpose and demand of admittance duly made, he cannot otherwise obtain admittance. Suppose accused who is to be arrested has entered into the house of somebody. The police officer demands, you allow me to enter into that house to find out X and Y, such and such person, because there is a arrest warrant, or he is to be arrested. Even search warrant is not there, because the time which will be required for obtaining search warrant, in the meantime, that person may escape. Person may escape in such case. If that person allows that person to enter into that, okay, it is okay. But if he doesn't allow, then that police officer may forcibly enter by breaking open the door or window of any house or place where that person is, or he suspects that person is concealing, or is, that is, concealing himself. So in such case, then it will be lawful for that police officer of that person to enter into that place or house after breaking open that house, door of that house, after breaking open the window, provided that if any such place is an apartment in the actual occupancy of a female, only restriction is there. Suppose that place is an actual occupancy of a female. If that place is actual occupancy of a female, that police officer or the person who is acting under a warrant to arrest somebody will inform that female, that woman who is in charge of that place or who is residing in that house, to withdraw himself. Before entering such apartment, give notice to such female. What is that? That she is at liberty to withdraw and shall afford her every reasonable facility for withdrawing. Not only also allow him, that person, to withdraw, or also allow him every reasonable facility for withdrawing, and may then break open the apartment and enter it. That means the police officer has the authority to break open the door of a house, to enter into that house, to conduct search, to make a search. What for? To find out the person who is to be arrested by him. Because if, when you will enter, break open, if after demand, the person who is residing in that house or is in charge of that place is not affording the facility or is not allowing that police officer to enter into that house. If any female is residing in that house, or if any female is in charge of that house, then the police officer will inform that female that she has a right to withdraw, and not only that, the police officer will also allow him the facility to withdraw. This is, sometimes it is not followed. Sometimes this Section 47. If you know the provision of Section 47, that when a female is there, a woman is there in the house, the police officer has a right, that a duty to inform that female, you may withdraw. Not only that, the police officer will also afford an opportunity, give an opportunity to that female to withdraw. Any police officer or other person authorized to make an arrest may break open any other or inner door or window and any house or place in order to liberate himself. What is, suppose a police officer has entered into the house. The person who allowed that house, his house to be entered by the police for the purpose of making search to find out the person who is to be arrested. Suppose thereafter that police officer was kept confined. That person closed the door. So here the subsection 3 says, when a police officer has entered into a house for making arrest and search, what for search? To find out the accused who is to be arrested. Thereafter, if any obstruction comes for his coming out of that house, that police officer has also, the law has given is the right to break open that any window, door to liberate himself, or any other person who having lawfully entered for the purpose of making arrest and is detained therein. If that after the entry into that house, if he is detained, then it will be lawful for that police officer or any other person to liberate him. He may break open any window, door, etc. This is section 47. It is a very simple section, but you should know two things. One thing, that if a police female officer, female is the occupation of that house or is residing in that house, that the police officer will inform that female to withdraw and will also give facility or for her withdrawal from that house. Then section 48, it is a very important section. Pursuit of offender into other jurisdiction. You are aware that a police officer in charge of police station, that officer exercises power within the territorial jurisdiction of that police station. Suppose a police officer is following an accused. He fled to another jurisdiction of another police station. He fled to a place which is situated outside that police station. Suppose if a police officer is following an accused, he left the place by a train to Mumbai. Whether that police officer can go up to Mumbai to arrest? This section 48 provides. What it says? A police officer may, for the purpose of arresting without warrant, police officer may arrest without warrant, that we have dealt. Police officer may, for the purpose of making arrest of a person without warrant, of any person, whom is authorized to arrest, pursue such person into any place in India. It is very important. That means the police officer can pursue that person to any place in India, even outside the jurisdiction of that police station, even in Mumbai. If the accused that flees to Mumbai, the police officer can pursue that accused up to Mumbai for the purpose of arrest. This is section 48. What it says? A police officer may, what for the purpose of arresting without warrant any person. He is authorized to make arrest without warrant. Whom is authorized to arrest, pursue such person into any place in India. Not only inside his police station jurisdiction, only within the jurisdiction of his police station, but also to any place in India. Now section 49, no unnecessary restraint. No unnecessary what? The person arrested shall not be subject to more restraint than is necessary to prevent his escape. This section 49 deals how there will be no handcuffing of the arrested person. You might have seen many cases. The accused is handcuffed, but such a provision is not there in the CRPC. The Honorable Supreme Court has settled the law that there will not be handcuff to the accused, because handcuffing is made only to the beast. When handcuffing is made down, so what is? Because that affects somebody's human rights. Human right is affected. So that's why Section 49 says, if in is only handcuffing will be made when the accused has an escaping tendency. Unless there is escaping, this chance of escaping of the accused, there will be no handcuffing. No handcuffing. So that means again, in the case law, it has been settled that handcuffing will be made to the accused only as per the order of the magistrate. Order of the magistrate. Merely by mentioning in the arrest memo that, or in some document, that is the accused has an escaping tendency, that is not sufficient. There must be sufficient proof that previously the accused, the person who is arrested, has escaped. Only in such case there can be handcuffing. So Section 49 that prohibits this handcuffing. What it says? The person arrested shall not be subject to more restraint than is necessary to prevent his escape. So unless there is possibility of escaping of the person who is arrested, there should not be any handcuffing. There should not be any chaining. There should not be any chaining. You may sometimes accused is treated in the medical, in the state of handcuffing or chaining him with the medical bed. No, that is not, because Section 49 says the person arrested shall not be subject to more restraint than is necessary to prevent his escape. If there is no chance of his escaping, there will be no handcuffing to the person who has been arrested. Only in very few cases, if the accused is in the habit of escaping, then in such case, there may be handcuffing. Section 49. Why? It says there will be no restraint. There will be, the person who has been arrested shall not be subjected to more restraint. There will be so much of restraint which is necessary to prevent his escape. That much of restraint can be done, will be made. But handcuffing is never permitted. Handcuffing is permitted only that you go through the case law, through the net, that handcuffing, leading case on handcuffing. So there, the Honorable Supreme Court has settled the law that there will be no handcuffing unless to the accused or the arrested person, unless he has escaping tendency or unless there is an order from the magistrate. Now Section 50. Person arrested to be informed of grounds of arrest and right to bail. Sometimes in a common man, a layman knows, layman questions on what ground I am being arrested. When police officer comes to arrest him, he asks that for what reason he is arrested. He is not required to ask such question to police or the person who is arrested. Section 50 says, gives a direction, it is mandatory for the police officer before making arrest to inform the person who is to be arrested, the ground of arrest, not only the ground of arrest, but also that the fact of his arrest will be informed to whom. He should name the name of his relative, family members or friend to whom the police officer will inform the fact of his arrest and where he is held. This Section 50 says every police officer or other person arresting any person, when a police officer arrests a person or any other person who is without warrant, he arrests a person, shall forthwith communicate to him full particulars of the offence for which arrested. The particulars of the offence must be informed. Full particulars of the offence must be informed to the person who is arrested. or other grounds for such arrest, or other grounds, suppose he has jobbed bail, then that ground may be infirm. So section 50 says it is the police officer, it is mandatory, shall is there, that is duty bound. Every police officer or other person arresting any person, when a police officer arrests somebody or any other person who arrests another person without warrant, so if a warrant order is there, the police officer will not inform the ground of arrest. Only every police officer or other person arresting any person without warrant. So when there is an arrest of a person without warrant, then in such case that police officer or other person shall forthwith, immediately communicate to him, when at the time of arrest, will forthwith communicate to that person who is to be arrested full particulars of the offence for which he is arrested. For the full particulars at which place and where, what type of offence he committed, full particulars of the offence must be informed to him. Then for which he is arrested or other grounds for such arrest. Second, where a police officer arrests without warrant any person other than a person accused of a non-bailable offence. Suppose police officer arrest a person for an other than an offence which is non-bailable, then that means in a bailable offence, the police officer shall inform the person arrested that he is entitled to be released on bail. That means when in a bailable offence the police officer arrests the accused, he is bound to inform that accused that he has the right to be released on bail and that he may arrange for sureties on his behalf. The police officer is also bound to inform the accused he may arrange a surety for his release on bail. Now, what is section 50? In nutshell, when a police officer or any other person makes an arrest of a person without warrant, that police officer of that person is duty bound to inform that person the particular of the offence for which he is arrested, or if any other grounds are there for his arrest, those grounds of arrest must be informed. Second, when a police officer makes an accused for a bailable offence, that police officer is also duty bound. He shall inform to the accused that he has a right to be released on bail or that he may arrange for sureties on his behalf. Now, section 50A that has been included, what? By way of amendment. What it provides? Obligation of person making arrest to inform about the arrest, etc., to a nominated person. This section 50A was included in the Criminal Procedure Code to check custodial death. Custodial death. Sometimes many cases, the person who is arrested and taken to the police officer because of third degree method, etc., the allegation of third degree method or torture of the police, sometimes that person dies. The person who is arrested and the arrested person who is taken to police station, it is not informed to anybody. Thereafter, if a death takes place, some suspicion comes to the mind of the public that under what ground he died or what is the reason for his death. To prevent or also to safeguard the police officer from the accusation of custodial death, etc., such a provision has been made. Section 58 provides obligation of a person making arrest to inform about the arrest, etc., to a nominate person. That when an accused is arrested, it is the obligation of the police officer to inform what? To inform the relative or friend of that accused who is arrested that that person was arrested. Section 58, you go through it. Every police officer or other person making an arrest under this code, when a police officer makes arrest, whether it is a bailable or non-bailable offence, or any other person making arrest under this code shall forthwith give the information regarding such arrest, forthwith, immediately, at the time, as early as possible, immediately arrest, give information, what information? Regarding such arrest, that such a person was arrested, and place where the arrested person is being held, at the after arrest where such person is held, to whom? To any of his friends, the friends of the accused who is arrested, or any relative of that person, or such other person as may be disclosed or nominated by the arrested person. Friend, relative, or such other person as may be disclosed or nominated by the arrested person. What is? For the purpose of giving such information. What type of information? That means, for what offense? That information regarding such arrest, regarding that arrest and place where that person was held after arrest. So that in future, if the death of the accused takes place, of the person, arrested person takes place, then it will be easier for that person. It will be known whether there is a custodial death, etc. or not. So that's why such a provision is there, that soon after arrest, every police officer must inform what? Regarding the arrest of that person and the place where that person is held, to whom you will inform. First, section 50 says it is to be informed to the accused, the person arrested. The section 50A is supplemented to section 50. It also provides that police officer or a person who is making arrest without warrant shall inform forthwith to any friend, relative, or any other person to be nominated or disclosed by the arrested person. What? Regarding his arrest and the place where he is held after arrest. Then the police officer shall inform the arrested person of his right under subsection 1 as soon as he is brought to the police station. Again a police is there. Arrest is made by police. A sub-inspector arrested somebody from a particular place, in Cuttack, a city. Thereafter he was brought to the police station. Again the police officer shall, another duty is there with the officer in charge of the police station. The police officer shall inform the arrested person of his right under subsection 1. What is under his right? That is, he has a right that the person who arrests him must inform to the friend or relative of the arrested person or to any person nominated or disclosed by the arrested person. What information? That he was arrested, for which offense, and where he was kept after arrest. Why? Because that accused, the person who was arrested, can take the help of an advocate, etc. for his release from custody. So the second requirement, first, at the time of arrest, this will be informed. Thereafter, when that person was brought to the police station, again the police officer will inform what the grounds for which offense he is arrested, and that to whom? To the friend, relative, or any other person to be nominated by the arrested person. What? The fact of his arrest and the place where he is held after arrest. Now, then third is there. Third precaution is there. An entry of the fact as to who has been informed will be made in a register kept in the police station. There is in the police station, a register will be maintained by the police officer that to whom that the fact of that arrest and that where he was held after arrest, that was informed, that the name of such person must be mentioned. What it says? An entry of the fact as to who has been informed, an entry of the fact that who has been informed regarding the arrest or the place where he is held of the arrest of such person shall be made in a book to be kept in the police station in such form as may be prescribed in this way by the state government. That the state government will prescribe a register in this such form. That register will maintain and in that register, an entry will be made by the police officer to which of the to the person, the name of the relative, the name of the friend, or the name of the person, if any, nominated by the arrested person, who was informed. What? Regarding the fact of his arrest and the place where he was held after arrest. Then not only that, the magistrate has also duty. This section 50A4 also provides that it shall be the duty of the magistrate before whom such arrested person is produced. You are aware, within 24 hours from the time of arrest, the arrested person is to be produced before the nearest, before the judicial magistrate, not executive magistrate, or is remand to jail. So in such case, when that person is arrested and produced before the nearest judicial magistrate having jurisdiction over that police station, then the judicial magistrate must satisfy himself that the requirements of subsection 2, what is the requirement of subsection 2? That the police officer, when that arrested person was brought to the police station, the police officer informed to the arrested person that the fact of his arrest has been informed to his relative or any friend or any other person who is nominated by him. It shall be the duty of the magistrate before whom such arrested person is produced to satisfy himself that the requirements of subsection 2 and subsection 3. Subsection 3 means there will be an entry in a register to be maintained in the police station showing the what? The name of the person to whom information was given regarding the arrest of somebody, the arrested person, and the place where he was held after arrest. This magistrate, soon after an accused is produced before the magistrate for judicial remand, he must satisfy himself that the police officer who was arrested, who arrested that accused, had informed his relative or his friend or any other person who was nominated by the accused, what? Regarding his arrest and the place where he was held. And after he was brought to the police station, the police officer also again informed him, that means officer in charge of the police station, has also informed him that the police officer shall inform the arrested person of his right, that he has a right to be informed, right that be informed to his nearest, and if it is a bailable offence, he has the right to be released on bail. This must be there. So now section 50A. 51 says search of arrested person. When a person is arrested, his personal search is required sometimes. Suppose an accused is arrested, if a person is arrested, he is in possession of a knife, he is in possession of a gun, or some money is recovered from him. Then those things will be recovered only after making search of that person, search of the person of that arrested person. Section 51 says, when such search will take place and who will conduct search. Well, then, in the case of a female, she is to be searched by a female police officer. Such a provision is there. Section 51 says search of arrested person. Whenever a person is arrested by a police officer under warrant, and the person is arrested by a police officer, which does not provide for taking bail. Only when a person is arrested by a police officer by virtue of a warrant or on the strength of a warrant, and there is no provision for bail, or under a warrant which provides for the taking of bail, but if there is a warrant for arresting, so there is a bailable warrant, but he doesn't give any bail. Then, or whenever a person is arrested without, third is when that person is arrested without warrant, or by a private person, when a private person can arrest in his presence and non-bailable and cognizable offence is committed, he can arrest, and then thereafter he will produce that arrested person before the nearest police officer. There is officer in charge of the police station. So whenever an accused is arrested, in case of bailable offence, but he is not giving bail, or when he is arrested without warrant or by a private person under, and cannot legally be admitted to it, cannot be taken to bail, admitted, or is unable to furnish bail, then the officer making the arrest, or when the arrest is made by a private person, the police officer to whom he makes over the person arrested, then may such person, what for? And place in safe custody. So that police officer will search that person and place in safe custody all articles other than necessary wearing apparel. Other than necessary wearing apparel. What is? The accused is wearing a gold ring. That will not be taken away because that is wearing apparel. But a gold ornament is found, or cash is found, or some weapon offense is found, that will be kept in custody, safe custody. All articles found from the person of the arrested, accused, will be kept in safe custody, but the wearing apparels will not be taken by police. And where any article is seized from the arrested person, if those articles were seized from the arrested person, a receipt showing the article taken in possession of the police officer shall be given to such person. Suppose some cash was found, some ATM card is found, some Aadhaar card is found from the police station, or that arrested person. All those articles will be taken and a receipt will be given to the arrested person. Whenever it is necessary to cause a female to be searched, then subsection 2 says, when the arrested person is a female, that is accused is a female, he is to be searched, then such search must be made by another female with strict regard to decency. Not necessarily by female police officer, by another female with strict regard to decency. Now, section 52 says, gives power to the police to seize offensive weapons. Offensive weapon, suppose a knife is found, suppose a gun was recovered, or revolver was recovered, the police officer has power to seize it. No, even if that the gun is not used in it, committing a particular offense. The officer or other person making any arrest under this code, the police officer or any other person making arrest under this code, may take from the person arrested, any offensive weapons which he has about his person. Whatever offensive weapon was found on personal search of the accused or the arrested person, that police officer or such person will take those articles, pick those weapons, and shall deliver all weapons so taken to the court. So whatever weapon of offense, weapons were found from the person of that arrested person or accused, those weapon, etc., offensive weapon will be produced in the court. Before whom before which or whom the officer or person make the arrest is required by this court to produce the person arrested. In the court, before the court, where that arrested person is to be produced, in that court, whatever weapon of offense or whatever offensive weapon, those are recovered from the possession of that arrested person, will be taken by the police and will be produced before the court, before the magistrate, before whom the arrested person is to be produced. Section 53, examination of accused by medical practitioner at the request of police officer. This section, there are two sections. Here a police officer will make a request to the medical practitioner, this medical practitioner, for examination of the arrested person. When the examination of the arrested person is required. If the medical examination of the arrested person will give some evidence to prove the offense alleged against him, in such case, the police officer makes a request to the medical officer to examine him. So, for example, that there was a fight. In that fight, some injury was sustained by the arrested person, the accused. Then the police officer may request the medical officer to examine him. Similar, because in future somebody will not blame that the police caused that injury. The third is, suppose while escaping from the scene of from the place of occurrence, the accused sustained some injury. For that, the police officer will make a request to the medical officer to medical examine that accused regarding what is the cause of that injury, what is the nature of that injury. Because in future the police will not be blamed for causing that injury to that accused. But in certain cases, sexual offences, some this medical examination of the accused as well as the victim is also required. In such case, on the request of the police officer, the medical practitioner examines the accused. Now, Section 53. When a person is arrested on a charge of committing an offence of such a nature, the offence is of such a nature, and alleged to have been committed under such circumstances, only such, if the offence is of such a nature, and alleged to have been committed in such a circumstance, that there are reasonable grounds for believing that an examination of this person will afford evidence. Whenever the police officer finds that the offence is of such a nature and it has been committed in such a circumstances that the examination of the arrested person will give ground for believing that he has committed that offence, then for believing that the examination of person will afford evidence by the medical examination of that person, some evidence will come to prove the offence, then it shall be lawful for a registered medical practitioner. Then when a registered medical practitioner is requested by the police, then it will be lawful for that medical practitioner to examine that accused. And for any person acting in good faith or acting on the request of police officer, not below the rank of sub-inspector, even assistant sub-inspector cannot make, but not below the rank of sub-inspector who will make a request for examination of that accused. What for? Because the examination of that, medical examination of that accused will give evidence, will produce or will be treated as that some evidence will come so that the offence can be proved. Or to make such an examination of the person arrested as is reasonably necessary in order to ascertain the fact which may afford such evidence. What is for that? To ascertain the fact that medical examination of that accused will afford such evidence, and to use such force as is reasonably necessary for such. If the accused is not willing for medical examination, even force can be used, or possibly can be medical examined. Sometimes you may get a question, can force be used for medical examination of an accused? This section 53 provides that whenever police officer has reasonable ground for believing that the medical examination of the accused will give some evidence to prove the accusation, then that person, on the request of that police officer, the registered medical practitioner will examine him, and if the accused will resist for such medical examination, then force can be used. Forcibly can be examined. Subsection 2 says, whenever the person of a female is to be examined, suppose a female accused, then she is to be examined. Under this section, the examination, whenever that is, examination shall be made only by or under the supervision of a female registered medical practitioner. So here, if a female accused is to be examined, that is to be made with the only or under the supervision of a female registered medical practitioner. Here, examination has been defined. Can there be a compulsory DNA test? Yes. This examination, that has been explanation has been included in this section, that is by your amendment in the year 2005. What it says? Examination shall include the examination of blood, medical examination, not only outer examination. The examination, medical examination shall include blood examination, blood stains, semen, swabs in case of sexual offences. Only semen swabs in case of sexual offences, not in other cases. Sputum and sweat and air sample and finger nail clipping by use of modern and scientific techniques. By modern and scientific techniques, such type of examination can be done, including DNA profiling and such other tests which the registered medical practitioner thinks necessary in a particular case. Medical examination doesn't mean only examination of injuries on the accused. This medical examination includes DNA test, nail clipping. Or what is nail clipping? Some nail is taken because of there is a murder. So some particulars, blood particulars may remain inside the nail. Nail clipping is taken for blood matching. So that is including this medical examination doesn't mean only physical medical examination, but also examination of blood, blood stains, semen swabs in case of sexual offences, sputum and sweat, hair sample and finger nail clippings by the use of modern and technical techniques, including DNA, that is also a modern technique, scientific technique, profiling and such other tests which the registered medical practitioner thinks necessary in a particular case. If the accused resists, that possibly such a test can be done. Registered medical practitioner means a medical practitioner who possesses any medical qualification as defined in clause H of section 2 of the Indian Medical Council Act 1956. Who is the registered medical practitioner? That means it has been defined a medical practitioner who possesses any medical qualification as defined in the Indian Medical Council Act 1956, and not only that, and whose name has been entered in a state medical register. In every state, a register is being maintained stating the medical practitioners who are registered medical practitioners. Maybe even Ayurvedic medical practitioner may come within this registered medical practitioner. Medical Council Act 1956 possesses any qualification and his name has been registered. And Section 53A says, examination of an accused who is involved in this, that is sexual offences, that is rape, etc. Let us conclude. In our next class, we will deal the provisions of Section 53A. What is examination of persons accused of rape by medical practitioner? Thank you all.